of a man is the rudder of the boat, but the Lord of all is its pilot. Cast not thy heart after riches. There's no ignoring fate and destiny. Place not thy thoughts on things outside. Every man is destined for his hour.
On feeling goods where all of your cash went. Not chakra alignment or inward refinement. Trying to find one word to describe men. Better yet, can one consciousness unify them? Pondering on these questions is where my time spent. Creative process, believe it. Greatness got to achieve it. Ideas we believe in. Positive mind, gotta reach in it. Putting effort to bring forth this new being. You're not consumed by the lust for things, but knows that his work is determined by words and deeds. Your mind is affected by words and deeds. Your thoughts are keys to what you're trying to see. And what you're trying to see should be to reach your goals. Hold on to your dreams. Keys open doors. Since you can't always choose circumstances, make sure to choose your thoughts wisely. Choose advancement. Work towards the future. Now's your chance, kid. Accept responsibility. Avoid resentment. Actions always take root from what you think about. Things ain't going your way. Ain't it hard to figure out why? Why? Ask why. Ain't gotta tell you. It's right in front of your eyes. So in following these principles, you'll find along the road you're the only one responsible for your soul. It's no coincidence. Take control of your life. No coincidence. It's no coincidence. You take control. No coincidence. It's no coincidence. Yeah, it's no coincidence. It's no coincidence. Nah, it's no coincidence.
Old shells are highly prized. And this one is occupied by a sarcastic fringe.
Trump's policies would throw us into a recession, the last thing we need.
Some of those jobs of the past are just not going to come back. He just says, well, I'm going to negotiate a better deal. Well, how exactly are you going to negotiate that? What magic wand do you have?
The Dow, well, it's gone up for 8 straight sessions, and it will go up, at least at the opening bell, again today.
Companies are hiring. We know layoffs are down and companies are hiring.
Unemployment for African Americans fell to a new low of 5.9%. Female job seekers, a low as well, 3.4%.
Jobless claims dropping to 3.8%. In fact, we've only seen a number that low since 1969.
Even the New York Times has to admit it. Check out this reporting. We ran out of words to describe how good the jobs numbers are.
Capitalism, colonization, imperialism are all very extremely intersected. And all of that had to do with the slavery and the free labor of black bodies and the genocide of indigenous people. So we have to understand the land. We're on Tonga land, and you have to understand the ripple effects of all of this. And this is very systemic, and we can't be civilized. And you even saying blacks and civilized and being uncivilized is racist in itself. So if you don't get that, I don't know.
So if a black person is acting uncivilized, and I say to the black person, you are acting uncivilized, I am a racist. Just so I'm clear. You just said the sentence, so they can get up and scream and act uncivilized, but calling something uncivilized that is uncivilized is racist.
I'm saying that we are angry, and that to allow...
I couldn't care less about your feelings. Like, I don't care if you're angry or sad, like...
But I will thank you for caring, for being so, as a white person, caring so much that you're unwilling to hear that there might be, aside from the club that you're hanging out with, some black people like the one behind you or the one in the front row who don't agree with you and don't see themselves as victims.
You are a traitor.
Listen, it's very hard being a black white supremacist in this country, may I just say. This was absolute nonsense. And just to be clear, the entire police force was built of black and Hispanic men, save 1 out of the 11 police officers happened to be white. The rest were all black and Hispanic, and they were shouting, "Race traitor" to us. The entire Antifa gang, if you guys don't know, watching at home, consists of all white people. There are no black people in this crowd. So it was very rich to watch them yelling at us, calling us white supremacists, telling us we were race traitors because we don't necessarily believe that we have to vote Democrat.
You're listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news. Breaking it in half with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio. What's up, people? I'm bookending the week with my Friday show. How's everybody doing out there? You know, it's kind of been a slow week, don't you think? Nothing new. I don't think there's anything new except that more information is coming out showing, if you go read The Hill, more information showing that it was a conspiracy to get the president during the election, and then once he became the president-elect, the Justice Department, Bruce Orr, who was, I think he was Andrew McCabe's deputy, and Bruce Orr was meeting with a former British spy even after the FBI had fired that former British spy for actually lying. And that former British spy, Christopher Steele, who actually wrote that dossier, who sourced it from the Republicans, right? So it turns out that Christopher Steele lied to the FBI, and he was actually leaking to the newspapers information that was supposed to be just privileged for the FBI. And then the FBI fires him. Didn't tell the FISA court, when they went with their warrant, they didn't tell them that the source of this material, this dossier, was fired for lying. They didn't tell them that. They didn't tell the FISA court that. And Bruce Orr was meeting with Christopher Steele off the record, off book, and still bringing in the information from the guy who was fired for lying into the FBI, into the Department of Justice. And by the way, Bruce Orr's wife worked for Fusion GPS. That was the company who Hillary hired to go get dirt, who in turn hires Christopher Steele. So this is the thing that is so convoluted, this stuff, right? When you look at the FBI side of it, the Department of Justice side of it, and how disorganized, messy, I mean, maybe even criminal they were with how they went about their business. It's insane. It's insane how sloppy they were. Not just sloppy. They were willing to break FBI rules to try to get Trump, right? But what Democrats see as important is that Donald Trump Jr. took a meeting, or, you know, replied to the email saying that he wanted dirt on Hillary. They offered dirt, and he said, "Oh, sure, let's do a meeting." So that's criminal. For me personally, the only problem Donald Trump Jr., Don Jr. had, was actually that he actually gave the Congress the email, showed the email to the press. I think that was his problem. What he should have done, he should have taken the Hillary route, deleted the emails, you know, acid wash his computer that had the email, you know, then had one of his employees take a hammer to it and destroy the equipment, and then see if the FBI could find it. That's what Hillary did with her emails. And that wasn't against the law. So that was Donald Trump Jr.'s problem. He actually followed the rules and gave the FBI his email, gave the Congress his email, gave the press. That was his problem. He should have taken the Hillary route and destroyed any communications and try and make them go look for it. But don't turn in the material because Hillary never turned in her server. Yeah. That's the problem. But, Democrats want to tell you, well, Don Jr., he got an email saying that somebody possibly has dirt on Hillary, and he said, great. That's a problem. Right there. That's the problem. Hillary paying for dirt on Donald Trump, and that dirt happens to come from a British spy who was getting his dirt from former Russian KGB. That's not a problem. I know I keep repeating myself, but this is the argument that continues. It's like the media won't let it go, right? And now they're on to Melania Trump. I got that story coming up. Melania Trump's parents have become U.S. citizens. We'll get to that. Let me take a music break, and I'll be right back. You're listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave.
That's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a real big problem. That's gonna problem. Gonna real problem. Gonna real big problem. Even though my brain just minding my shit, so the lights in the mirror, seatbelt ain't click. I'm innocent, my papers legit. I wasn't gonna stop him for giving me shit. Come on! He's walking to my door, tapping on my glass, telling me his reasons for what he called fast. Yeah. Doesn't matter, got no time to stress. Hold on! That's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a real big problem. That's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a real. My brain just minding my shit, so the lights in the mirror, seatbelt ain't click. Come on! I'm innocent, my papers legit, but I wasn't gonna stop him for giving me shit. Yeah. He's walking to my door, tapping on my glass, telling me his reasons for what he called fast. Doesn't matter, got no time to stress. Somebody be my witness. Frustrated, irritated while I'm sitting in court looking at the jury, feeling no support. My lawyer telling me to take plea. I can see the judge's eyes saying I should agree, but that's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a real big problem. Come on, that's gonna be a problem. Hey, that's gonna be a real big problem. Left my girl home, now I'm rolling on my own. No shame that I pregame, secrets how to save. That's just how I do, and my friends do. But now I'm clubbing like a fool. Come on! Supermodel shaped like a Coke bottle. Killer smile like a style. All the fellas going wild. Let's connect. I can take what she expect. This is something I regret. From my pocket, she's a threat. Here she comes.
Hey, what's up?
What you think? Did she just wink? Stay focused. What's your name?
Buy me a drink.
That's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a real big problem. Real big problem. Real big.
All right, you're listening to Breaking News. Absolutely breaking the news. All right, Cameron, I need new pics. Why? You don't like Spike Lee with Melania and Trump? Oh, is Spike Lee a hypocrite to you now? Or how about when Donald Trump was hanging out with Muhammad Ali, Jesse Jackson, and Don King? That offends you? How about when Donald Trump, Muhammad Ali, and Rosa Parks got the Freedom Award on Ellis Island? Oh, that's a problem? Come on. Oh, you don't like our president hugging the flag? Oh, maybe you want to kneel down, take a knee for that flag. Come on, Cameron. And Anthony Bernard Ellison Jr. Now, here's the thing. The reason I bring up Hillary is, and it's the same reason I bring up Barack Hussein Obama. I use them to show the hypocrisy of those going after Trump. That's the only reason I use Hillary, because I could care less about Hillary. Hillary could go back into that forest and never come out. Forest. Right? So, just saying, but you'll hear me use Hillary, you hear me use Barack. But don't get offended. Don't get offended. It'll be okay, Anthony. All right. That's what I was talking about before the break. Melania Trump's parents become U.S. citizens. Right? And it's a big deal. I was watching it today on, CNN and MSNBC. The hypocrisy of Donald Trump, who wants to get rid of the chain migration, but his in-laws become U.S. citizens. Now, first off, has anything changed? Have the laws changed? He wants to change the laws, but have the laws changed? Anybody? No, the laws haven't changed. So you expect for him to tell his wife, your parents can't come in because this is what I want. Obviously, Melania has her own mind, right? She ain't falling in line, lockstep, like Democrat men do with their women, I guess. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so, but let's tackle it. Let's tackle it because I'm looking at the picture right now of Melania's parents. And they were able to come in through that chain migration, right? And it happens to be, right? Let's see. So Melania's parents, they don't look like the type that are gonna actually bleed our system. Get on welfare, get on food stamps, have 5 kids, and put all of those kids on welfare. That is not what's happening with the Trumps, right? So rest assured that when Trump says he wants to, and this is ignorance on the media's part, because he never said he wants to get rid of complete chain migration completely. He wants to limit it so that you're not able to bring your third cousin or your uncle on your mother's side who was married into the family. You know what I'm saying? So that's all he's doing. He wants to limit it to immediate family. That happens to be Melania's immediate family. So, not that hard to understand, but, I was telling my wife this morning what I'm realizing. If it's simple, it's usually over the head of a Democrat. But I'm willing to oversimplify things for people who really don't understand. Who don't understand much. So let's move on, right? And let's keep talking about immigration, right? This is from the Center of Immigration Studies. The cost of welfare used by immigrant and native households. And this is it's really interesting. The graph is really interesting, and you'll find that people entering the country, even legally, are the ones actually using the bulk of food stamps and stuff like that, right? So you have natives. Okay, household welfare consumption in 2012 tended to be higher among immigrants from Latin America and lower among immigrants from Europe and Asia, right? So natives, us, so it breaks it down. It's a whole bunch of numbers. If I start going through the numbers, we'll be here 2 hours. But anyway, so from Central America, they were averaging more per household. South America, then Caribbean, Africa, East Asia, Europe, and then South Asia. That's the list of the people who actually come in and use the services, right? So I guarantee you that Melania Trump's parents aren't going to be on that list. They're not going to go and they're not going to get, put one of their kids on Section 8. Have a kid, put them on Section 8 so that they're able to get a free house through the kid. None of that stuff is going to happen. Right? But it happens every day when you allow immigrants in who can't contribute to America. What Trump wants to go to is a merit-based system so that you come in and you contribute to America. Not that you bleed America of its sources, of its resources. Right? So, anyway. Hey, what's up, Charlene? You're a loser too. You know why you're a loser, Charlene? Because you won't take the time to listen. Because you won't take the time to educate yourself. Because you are falling lockstep into a pattern. A lot of times it's a generational pattern of people voting in the same direction and never actually learning anything for themselves. Never broadening their horizons with information. Check all the cities, look at all the cities in the United States and check which ones are struggling the worst. And you'll find those are Democrat-led cities. And a lot of those cities have been led by Democrats for 50, 60 years. So, anyway. All right. So, anyway, let me see if there's any other comments. Nope, that's it, Charlene. But thank you for listening. I actually appreciate you tuning in. Even if it is to hate me, give me more of an opinion than this guy's a loser. I guess I'm a loser in your mind, but that's okay. Think what you want about me. Just go and learn something. Stop being led by the nose. Right? So let's play some music. It's crazy how most people are the people who judge viciously, right, are usually those who don't understand nothing, who don't understand anything but being offended, right? So the reason they react viciously is because they don't even understand. They refuse to understand. So you coming into their bubble or trying to get into their bubble, trying to give them a different point of view, it actually offends them. You know, so when people are offended, most people don't listen. Me, I'm always listening. I'm always listening just because. You know, just because. I'm always listening because the more information you soak up, the more you have to actually make your decisions with. If somebody tells you, oh, Trump's racist, and you go, yeah, he's racist. Oh, Trump said that all Mexicans are murderers and, you know, all Mexicans are rapists. No, he didn't say that. But most of you don't even know that. You know, you don't know that because he didn't say that. You know, he said a lot of people coming through the border, a lot, not the majority, but a lot, bring in crime. And I'm going to get to a story right now in Philadelphia where that mayor was doing a jig. I'll get into it after the break. But I'll get into an immigration story, try to teach you something. But don't go nowhere. Don't get offended. Tune in. You're listening to Breaking News. Absolutely breaking the news. Breaking the mainstream media in half with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio.
Cheers, toast the crime, the crime. Got another one.
What is all the fussing for? It's me they discussing more. Always been a team player. This season I'm shooting more.
Thoughts that I brainstorm, strapped with the 8 long, bullets about the size of an acorn, headshots leaving your face gone, bought your mixtape just to break up an 8th on, I skate on, rugged terrain, all custom apparel, frontin' I air you and give it to whoever is near you, this is bad food, I'm Yogi out in Yellowstone, elbow your dome, then I light an elder blow, I bang hella chrome. I spend years in the weapon cage, so anything you shooting is featherweight. I demonstrate your armor ain't safe. Watch me penetrate, levitate your soul from your body, send it to heaven's gate. Who goes there? You looking eye to eye with the guard. Your timing is off. I took time designing this cloth. I am the boss, and most of y'all rhyming is frauds. Your lying dog couldn't see me with a line involved. I iron your jaw. You can't stop me. I dead cats and throw them over shoulder. King Jaffe, you not me. Just another mumble mouth wannabe. I smoke the bonsai tree just to calm my chi. Off niggas ain't harming me. Y'all niggas been dead, looking like zombs to me. Time for war, I came with bombs with me. Simtech, that's some bombs sticky. I get them off quickly. Tell me what is all the fussing for? I'm the one they came to see. It's me they discussing more. I'm the one they rooting for. Always been a team player. This season I'm shooting more. Better tuck in your chain, punk. I just lost my job and you looking like steak chump. If my ribs touching, someone's getting a face cut. Approaching a whip, 9 on me with a blade in my chains cut. Cause real life, y'all don't know the struggle I deal with. All the letdowns and the pain that I'm built with. Smoking back to back to prevent me from killing. Almost hit the neighbor when I shot the toast to the ceiling. Yeah, I was out in Texas pushing weapons to rednecks. A few death threats from the women I slept with. Heartache and hard is what they was left with. Your best bet, move the fuck on and accept it. Who wants war with he who loves friction the most? You're good and all, I'm more non-fictional though. I get it and go, and I ain't gotta wait for it to happen. As soon as the body drops, I get him fitted for the casket. Bastard, a headshot or force him to a backflip. My genre of rap, cinematic in action. I tap chins, you thinking of course, you got an Asian wife. Me and her A alike, weapon choice blazing nice. Iron fist, cut off my arms, I reinforced them shit. RZA shit. Now when I punch, I'm known to injure shit. Binge shit. Now that's a lot of shit you done got into, kid. Me and you get into it is finishing. Let's begin. Tell me what is all the fussing for? I'm the one they came to see. It's me they discussing more.
What's up? What's up? You're listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, aka The Brave. Kenneth Bastian, Trump stock ticker 2009 bankruptcy. I don't know, Kenneth. I'm not looking at Trump's failures. I'm looking at his successes. Look at his successes now. Look at the 3.9 unemployment. Look at the lowest unemployment for blacks in the history of them taking that poll. Look at the lowest unemployment for Hispanics. Look at the lowest unemployment in 40 years for women. How about those stats? You like those? Okay. But I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with people. You want to go back to 2009? How about 2008, 2007? How about when Barack Obama started his campaign in a domestic terrorist living room, Bill Ayers? How about that? Oh, you don't care about that? You don't care that Bill Ayers was part of the, what was it, the Weatherman Underground, who went and blew up a couple of police stations? Come on, man. Do your homework. You want to be offended by something? There's a lot to be offended about on the Democrat side. All right, so let's get into it. A previously deported and this is what I was talking about before the break, right? The Philadelphia mayor, and you could go look it up online, go look on YouTube, go Google it, go do whatever you do. Philadelphia mayor doing a jig when a judge decided that they could be a sanctuary city. Well, here are the repercussions of that, right? And let's see him do a jig about this, because they protect illegals while hanging Americans out to dry or children out to dry, right? A previously deported illegal immigrant from Honduras who raped a child after Philadelphia authorities ignored an ICE detainer and released him, pleaded guilty Tuesday to illegal re-entry. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania announced Juan Ramon Vasquez, 45, faced up to 2 years in federal prison. Vasquez was deported from the U.S. in 2009, but was found to be back in the country in March 2014 and taken into custody after local criminal charges against him were dropped. Philadelphia officials did not comply with a detainer by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and Vasquez was released, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. After his 2015 release, Vasquez was rearrested and convicted for the rape of a child. And that's what the Democrats are fighting for, right? They don't care about crime if an illegal person is doing it. And I forgot to pull this story. This happened like a month ago, but there was this young black woman who tried to rob a bank, and she had her child in the car. I'll pull it up for next show, but let me just say the story. She went in, tried to rob the bank, and then she tried to make a getaway, and the police got her. They went after her, and she put her child in between her and the cops, and the cops separated that woman from her child. Can you believe it? They arrested her, and the child went into child protective custody, right? Or Department of Children and Families, right? Can you believe that they separated that woman from that child? I can't believe it. But you know what? That is something that happens every day in America. Legal Hispanics, legal blacks get arrested and separated from their children every day. Now, if you're illegal, everybody's offended by it. You know, there's another story of a guy who came in with the child, and it turned out he was never the parent, right? And everybody wants to associate, you know, the separating of children at the border with us. I was hearing MSNBC saying we're kidnapping children, when a lot of times we don't even know if the person bringing over the child is the parent. So that child could be coming with their rapist who's been raping them on the trip, because they use coyotes and cartel people to bring those children in. And that child could be abused through their whole trek, and then we want to keep them together with their molester. That's what the Democrats are fighting for. As a matter of fact, the Democrats are fighting for an open border. So you don't even have to check. You don't even have to check. And you know how many sex trafficking rings that they've busted with these children being used for sex coming across the border? There's a lot to be offended about on the Democrat side. It's unbelievable, the stuff that everybody is allowed to get away with. But if you're American, you got to do your time. Nobody's going to let you go out the back door. I can't believe they separated that black woman from her child. Who cares if she was trying to rob a bank? Who cares? That's un-American. You're listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news, with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio.
Let you fall away. I don't wanna go nowhere. Some other niggas fall away, cause you found a better one. I don't wanna let you fall away. I don't wanna let you fall away. I'm thinking about when we gon' touch. 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 When I'm up, I still ride for you. Only girl that I want is you. I ain't looking, but I still found you. Show you something others can't do. Oh, got me feeling no way when they say you the same in their head. So don't go away, I ain't gonna let you go away. I'ma keep you right here to myself. I ain't trying to show no one else. We can keep it on the low, but you can still let them other niggas know. Tell me why you playing with it. I'm just trying to tell you I ain't playing with it. Them other niggas lying with it. I'ma show you that I ain't the same with it. I don't wanna let you fall away. I don't wanna go nowhere. Some other niggas fall away, cause you found a better one. I don't wanna let you fall away. I don't wanna let you fall away. Oh, I'm thinking about when we gon' touch. 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 She said she got a new thing. The way she got me feeling got me dropping on my boo decks. I'm just tryna do that. Get you over here, I'ma show you us a few things. She said she wanna roll, we can go anywhere that you wanna go. She said she wanna be next to me. Ain't no other place you rather be. Got me feeling up when I'm with you. Wanna feel you up when I'm with you. Feeling like a drive when I'm with you. Wonder where you at when I'm with you. And I ain't gonna lie, the way you got me feeling, I'ma take my time. And I ain't gonna lie, girl, you got me feeling your vibe. Oh, I don't wanna let you fall away. I don't wanna go nowhere. Tell my little singing fall away, cause you found a better one. I don't wanna let you fall away. I don't wanna let you fall away. Oh, I'm thinking about when we gon' touch.
Hey, you're listening to breaking news. Absolutely breaking the news with Harry K. the Brave. Alright, yeah, you know, I saw the best protest this week. It was Rosie O'Donnell, and she had, I think, some Broadway group singing in front of the White House. I think it was cool. You know, they were protesting. The president wasn't home. He was actually in New Jersey, but they were protesting. But it was really cool, and they sounded really great. Of course, then once Rosie started talking, she sounded insane, saying that that everybody who shows up to a Trump rally is paid. Everybody who voted for Trump was being paid. Democrats have to decide whether Trump is really rich, because you hear some Democrats, he's not really rich either. He's not really as rich as he says he is. And then other Democrats say he's really rich, that he's paying people to vote for him or to show up at rallies. I don't know. I don't know which one it is, but let's go to the story. Actress and left-wing activist Alyssa Milano blamed the Russians after Democrats lost Tuesday's special election in Ohio. Okay, so now the Russians, I don't know where, I don't know what to say about these Democrats. You guys, if you don't take the time to learn that there are Americans who don't think like you, who don't live in your bubble, right? So when Trump said he was going to get the economy moving, everybody laughed. Everybody laughed. You had Democrat economists talking about that the market was going to crash immediately. Right? So it's like insane. I try to think about most Democrats, a lot of them intelligent people, but they speak with their emotions, right? And they sound like lunatics. So now Russia is the reason why the Democrats lost in Ohio. First, let me just say this, and I applaud the Democrats in Ohio, right? Because they made it a tight race, right? Even if they would have won, it's a snapshot, right? And everybody's saying that snapshot is a snapshot that the Democrats have the energy, have the enthusiasm to go vote. And in Ohio, they turned out 90%. Democrats turned out 90% of registered Democrats turned out. That is amazing. Amazing. But historically, Republicans don't come out and vote in special elections, right? Actually, I think it was 2010 or 2012 under Obama, there were like 4 special elections and Obama won all of them. And people were saying it's a snapshot that Obama is gonna, and the Republicans wiped them out. This 2010, I think it was. The Republicans just came out and wiped out the Democrats, took the House. So that's the thing that everybody's going, oh, it's a snapshot of enthusiasm. Well, the Democrats turned out at 90%, but guess what? The Republicans only turned out 40%. They didn't come out to vote for a special election. Now imagine in November when more people come out to vote. If you're at 90%, that means you don't have much to push on. That's your ceiling. The Republicans are going to come out and vote. If they vote at 60%, they'll beat the Democrats. It's that simple. But, I feel for Alyssa Milano. I mean, she still looks good. She has that going for her. That was not sexist. Come on. You can't say a beautiful woman is beautiful? Come on. Stop it. Stop it. All right, so let's move on. Voter fraud. Twice as many ballots cast as there are voters in the Georgia precinct. Okay, twice as many ballots as the number of registered voters were cast in a northeastern Georgia precinct during the state's primary elections in May. According to officials, numbers from the Georgia Secretary of State, 670 votes were cast in Habersham County, where there's only 276 registered voters. What does that mean, huh? Probably a couple of 100 dead people voted. That's why the Democrats, look, this is real simple. Democrats, you have Alyssa Milano crying about Ohio and blaming it on somebody, right? But when Republicans want to clean the voter registration rolls, it's simple. It's to get rid of all of these dead people or people who don't even live in those districts anymore, who, for some reason, the dead and people who don't live in the district come out and still vote. But the Democrats count on those votes. That's why they never want to clean the rolls. But that's fine, But it shows you, because you hear all the time, there's no voter fraud. Of course there's voter fraud. Of course there's voter fraud. I won't talk about people who I think, vote illegally, but, Okay, I wanted to get to this story because I mentioned it Monday. I want to correct something also Monday. My wife said, what were you saying? I kept saying compare and comparison. I wanted compare and contrast. So I kept going, compare and comparison, compare and comparison. That's for the wifey. I know it was compare and contrast. I got the words confused, but whatever. All right. So here goes the story, because I mentioned on Monday about schools getting rid of prayer, the Pledge of Allegiance, but they're fine with having, trannies and queens come in and teach them about gender fluidity and all of that stuff, right? So, and I heard, what are you talking about? Pledge of Allegiance. They still do Pledge of Allegiance. No, not really. A lot of schools have gotten rid of it, and I'll show you one right here. Atlanta school dropped school-wide Pledge of Allegiance, asked students instead to recite the Wolfpack chant. Right? So an Atlanta charter school headed into the new school year by telling students and staff not to recite the Pledge of Allegiance in the morning, but instead the Wolfpack chant. An Atlanta neighborhood charter school announced to, repeating itself. Right? Students will continue to lead the meeting by asking our community to stand to participate in our Wolfpack chant. I guess it's the school chant or something. It's weird. But yeah, you see, schools are getting rid of the Pledge of Allegiance. I guess it offends people to pledge allegiance to the flags of the United States of America. The flag offends people these days. I don't know what's going on. But there you go, for the person who send me a text. Nobody's doing that. All right. You're listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio.
And don't you stop what you're doing, 'cause I love watching how you move to the beat, the beat, the beat. I can't help it but to stare. Got the temperature rising up in here, and this beautiful woman everywhere. But you're the only one that sees. I gotta get you alone. Just find a place we can go. And I don't care no. 'Cause I gotta get you close to me. I gotta get you alone. Just find a place we can go. And I don't care no. 'Cause I gotta get you close to me. You got that thing that I need, and you're making it hard for me to breathe. There's a fire burning deep inside of me, burning hotter as you move to the beat, the beat, the beat. I can't help it but to stare. Got the temperature rising up in here, and this beautiful woman everywhere. But you're the only one that I see, see, see. Gotta get you close to me. Gotta get you close to me. I gotta get you close to me. Gotta get you close to me. I gotta get you close to me. 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 I gotta get you alone. Just find a place we can go. And I don't care no. 'Cause I gotta get you close to me. I gotta get you alone. Just find a place we can go. And I don't care no. 'Cause I gotta get you close to me. I gotta get you alone. Just find a place we can go. And I don't care no.
All right, you're listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM. All right, let's get to a clip here. Nancy Pelosi. This was this week.
Nancy Pelosi says voting for Democrats is the only way to give leverage to illegal immigrants.
We are not going to be able to get it done under the Republican leadership in Congress. We believe that we will have leverage when we win in November. And why that's important? Because it gives leverage to every family, to every mom who courageously brought her child across the desert to escape.
All right, so Nancy Pelosi wants you to vote for Democrats, not so she could help you. Remember, the Democrats aren't offering you anything. They're not offering you jobs because Trump has succeeded in his promise to bring more jobs. There's more jobs than people available to work right now. Understand that. That's leverage. That's real leverage. That means that employers are competing for your services. If you're not happy with your job, there's opportunity for you to move to another job. That's called leverage. You know the leverage Nancy Pelosi wants to give? Not to you. Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to give you any leverage. She wants you to vote Democrat so that you could give leverage to the illegals coming in to the border, through the border, not through a port of entry, a legal port of entry, people crossing illegally, so that she could give them leverage over who? ICE? That's another thing the Democrats want to do. Get rid of ICE. What? Leverage over what? Over the border? What is it? What leverage does Nancy Pelosi want to give the illegal alien crossing the border? That's where your Democrats are. They can't offer you anything. They can't offer you a good economy. They can't offer you more money in your pocket. They can't offer you anything. So, this is the new Democrat slogan should be, vote for us so we can give leverage to the illegals. That's exactly what that's exactly what the Democrats are running on. I got to get out of here. It's been fun. Stay tuned, tune in Monday. I'll be back. And stay tuned for Table Underground with Tegan Engel. You're listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news, breaking the mainstream media in half with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio. See ya!
The tongue of a man is the rudder of the boat, but the Lord of all is its pilot. Cast not thy heart after riches. There's no ignoring fate and destiny. Place not thy thoughts on things outside. Every man is destined for his hour.
I'm feeling goods where all of your cash went. Not chakra alignment or inward refinement. Trying to find one word to describe men. Better yet, can one consciousness unify them? Pondering on these questions is where my time spent. Creative process, believe me, greatness got to achieve it. Ideas we believe in, positive mind, gotta reach in it. Putting effort to bring forth this new being. You're not consumed by the lust for things, but knows that his worth is determined by words and deeds. Your mind is affected by words and deeds. Your thoughts are keys to what you're trying to see, and what you're trying to see should be to reach your goals. Hold on to your dreams, keys open doors. Since you can't always choose circumstances, make sure to choose your thoughts wisely. Choose advancement or towards the future. Now's your chance, kid. Accept responsibility, avoid resentment. Actions always take root from what you think about. Things ain't going your way, it ain't hard to figure out. Why? Why? Ask why. Ain't gotta tell you, it's right in front of your eyes. So in following these principles you'll find along the road, you're the only one responsible for your soul. It's no coincidence. Take control of your life, no coincidence. It's no coincidence. You take control, no coincidence. It's no coincidence. Yeah, it's no coincidence. It's no coincidence. Nah, it's no coincidence.
Old shells are highly prized. And this one is occupied by a sarcastic fringe.
This is Harry Droz, and you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, New Haven.
You're listening to WNHH 103.5 FM Community Radio. This is the Table Underground, and